What's up, guys? Welcome to the E3 2019 in review. Kind of funny, easy allies, crossover, spectacular. Throw the X's up, everybody. Let's go.
X gonna give it to you.
We got Brandon Jones on Team Gettys, one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller. And rounding out the group, man, giving Fran Mirabella a run for best hair in the business.
Don't say things you can't
Brad
take
Ellis.
back.
Oh. You see that, though?
Fran
You
is
see
gonna
that
bust
swoop?
through the wall.
Fran.
Brad, do they know it's not a mistake that you have such good hair?
I don't know.
It's not an accident.
What does that mean?
I was a hairstylist for like 4 years before I got into games.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
What could I do
You did
better?
good.
I need a haircut right now.
That's what you need, a haircut.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just got like the classic cut, man.
yeah.
It's
Generic
not,
white guy.
I don't see it where I'm like, man, that guy needs a haircut. It's out of control.
Sure.
What do
I
you
think-
see? Do you see like just the colors
Go ahead.
and the?
Yeah, I'm just
You're
checking
right.
out all the gray.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of gray.
Checking out.
They thought it'd be. I thought it'd be easier running your own business. Much harder.
Hey, I like the gray, man. Jones got the gray
Oh,
going
yeah.
too.
Coming in.
Great team.
I saw on the GameSpot, like, oh, there it is.
We're here at the Easy Allies studio. Do you call it the studio? Do you call it the
Studios.
office? Studios.
We got
Easy
two
Allies
rooms
Studios.
that we shoot
Smart.
stuff
Damn,
in. So.
plural.
Yep.
That's some fun. Oh, we
It's
got
like
Jen back
Universal
there, too.
Studios.
Yeah, but I'm not.
She's not part of this.
She's
chilling.
physically
If
there.
I'm
though.
being
though.
frank,
Yeah,
she's
take-
leaning too far in.
Uh-huh.
She's supposed to be back there taking her burrito nap. I don't know why.
We
She's...
just had burritos there.
My
Yeah,
goal
but
is
then
to
you
set
give
up
me a
like
Red Bull.
the Universal Studios, but the Easy Ally Studios backlot tour. I want to have
I
a
love
tram
that.
that goes down the hallway where then
I love that a lot.
Jaws comes out.
I'll give the tour.
Kyle laying in the hallway.
And here's our one sink.
Yeah.
So it's Friday right now as we're recording this. We just came the Friday after E3. We saw all the conferences. We went down. You guys went to Judges Week before this.
Yeah.
Then we just did all our appointments. So, like you hosted EA Play. That was crazy. We did the Kind of Video Game Showcase. We've all played a million different games and appointments and stuff. Then we came here and did your guys' show.
Yeah.
We're on that. You can find that on youtube.com/easyallies, right?
Yeah.
There. That should be fun. But this, I just kind of want to do like a wrap-up. Overall, what did we think of this year's E3? Brad, you want to kick us off?
I think this was my 6th E3, and I had a lot of fun. It had a weird vibe, though, going into it, because there's less big people on the floor. I remember my first E3 was the hallway, the Xbox, the PlayStation. It was super epic. Nintendo was in there and
competing
everything.
against each other, yeah.
And now we're like, there's so much just like small, random, like little businesses in there.
Yeah.
Where like I can't even like play a video game or anything. I'm like, oh, okay. There's just like a big open space where I'm just like kind of sad because there's nothing there. But there's some extremely good video games at this E3.
Yeah.
What were the top things that you saw?
Final Fantasy VII, Doom Eternal,
Right.
my
Yeah.
top two, man.
Talk about Doom. I don't think that we really on any of our shows got into that one.
The reason I have the Switch, right, is that Doom Eternal was so good. I'm like, I gotta go back
you
and
serious?
play Doom. I gotta go back and play Doom.
That's a good
Downloading
thing.
Doom right now for your internet, screwing up your entire live show.
But yeah, have you any of you played Doom 2016?
Yes.
I know you're just playing.
I
it.
tinkered. I tinkered
Okay,
with it
so-
at launch. and
Probably
then
dropping
never did.
frames or dropping Doom frames.
Yeah.
Doom
Doom
frames, baby.
frames.
Yeah. Love Doom 2016. Then they just came back with Doom Eternal, literally improving upon every single thing in the first game.
Yeah.
The movement, like Doom is a game all about speed and movement, and this game just takes that idea and just runs crazy with it. You could dash in the air now. You're going even faster. You're swinging around. You're not stop. You're like non-stop moving in this game.
So what
Non-stop.
I really liked about the stuff they showed at the Bethesda conference is it reminded me of a 3D first-person Celeste in a lot of ways. Where
The platforming?
yeah, a lot
Sure,
of platform, a lot of like air dashes and like
definitely
it needs to
improving
be
that.
just constantly moving, and that's insane.
It works.
If they can
It
nail
feels
that.
really good. Like super in control. You know, first person.
Yeah.
Sometimes platforming for years is like, a little wonky. Doom nails it perfectly.
Really loved the grappling hook shotgun.
Oh my god.
Right? Shoot across, use it to shoot across.
Grappling hook, shotgun.
Attach to the demon, pull yourself over, and then immediately shoot him with the shotgun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Just
Yeah.
the game gives you so many fun tools to play with, and all of them are super useful. You don't like play Doom and be like, oh, I'm just gonna stick with this one gun the whole time. I like this gun. Doom, no. You're switching around and using
That's
everything
great.
in every situation.
Awesome. And then Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII is probably my favorite game of all time, the original. This game is the dream, kind of thing like that. This is like what Final Fantasy VII should look like to me. This is what Final Fantasy VII should be in a modern day. I love the turn-based battle, but I think what they're doing with the battle system in this game is exactly what it needed to be. It felt great. It was still tactical. And just Midgar, it looks perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I was just blown away. I'm always like, yeah, I'm like worried about this game, kind of. You know, it's multi-part. That's like a little worrying. But then I just see it, and I see what they're doing with like the characters and everything, and it's just nailing it for me. It's getting people, I think, involved in the game like Brandon. Brandon's a perfect example of someone who didn't really like Final Fantasy VII, and he's in. Jones is in now.
On liking remake or not liking 7?
I think it was not liking 7.
Not liking 7, but then Tim has sold me on this remake as well. The more he talks about it, I think the
moment it went into slow mo, it's like.
Well, that's the thing is the battle system. The more I think about it, I was talking to Ben a little bit earlier about it, and it's just so crazy how they nailed it being an action game, but like at the end of the day, the combat is not about mashing square.
No, it's not Kingdom Hearts or anything like that.
It's not. And it's like you go in and you mash square to like do your sword strikes, but the reason you're doing that is just to build up your ATB gauge, which then allows you to use your magic and use your skills. And that's where it's at. It's like all of the slash, that's not going to take their life down. That is totally not what the strategy is. It's like you need to just use that to get your gauge up, and it's pretty quick. It's like really fast, and then it goes into slow mo, and you can like choose your what your next move's gonna be.
So it's similar to Bleeding Edge, right? Where we had like a basic attack, but really you're doing it to build up your specials.
Yes, it's like that, but instead of it being like super fast paced, like Platinum Game style, it turns from Kingdom Hearts style like slash into more of like a traditional Final Fantasy, but it doesn't have that sense of like, it's my turn, it's your turn, it's my turn. It's definitely like moment to moment you got to go. And playing the demo, a lot of the enemies were really easy. Once you get to the boss though, I was like, there's tactics involved with this. Like there was a lot more strategy.
Yeah, you're just not mashing it out on this guy.
I saw a ton of people around us losing. Like they were dying at the boss, and I was like, that's cool that because it's not that familiar to play, you know. But then immediately it's like you wrap your head around it and get the combat. I loved it.
I didn't think about this, but I was a big fan of Octopath Traveler.
Hell yeah, you were. Come on.
And I think it's one of those games where kind of like Days Gone, where it's like I enjoyed this. The sequel could be
great first step.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think Octopath Traveler did really well, and I wonder if this also has a payoff in Final Fantasy VII from what I've seen, is this idea, like you're saying, of like mash, save. Something happens to the boss. We're like, oh, I'm weak for a second, and then, just everyone do the biggest thing you possibly can.
That's the cool thing is that I feel like they made a wise call of only having 2 ATB gauges down there. So it's like you can't stock up a whole bunch.
Okay.
It's like at any moment you can only have 2 per character. Yeah. And the demo we did was Barrett and Cloud, so it was 2 characters. Yeah. You can switch on the fly between them. So if you do stock up, you have the potential to use 4 special moves back to back, and that was really satisfying, really cool. But eventually there's going to be Tifa added or whoever else, so 3
and
party members.
In the meantime, you're building up your limit break too the whole time.
Yeah.
So you got that to worry about, and there's also the demo we saw. They showed off a different like attack or like a mode you could put them in.
Yeah.
I think Cloud's like punish mode or something like that, where he had like he was doing more damage, but he was attacking slower, and he could also auto attack if he got hit. But if he got hit by a ranged attack, he'd get knocked out of it. There's just a lot of strategy. I was surprised how much strategy there was for a game that seems like on the surface like a very just action, you're slashing. That's what you think. It looks like that until you actually play it, where you just like sit there. Because I was playing it and I was like, oh, I could probably just hotkey everything and just get through this really quick and not have to actually pause it. Then when I started playing, I was like, oh, let me stop and think for a second. I'm like, oh, this is really great.
I think they did a really good job of like it looks more like Kingdom Hearts type gameplay, but what it actually is it's on the surface. It's that the moment you go a little deeper, it feels like kind of a best of Final Fantasy 13 and 15.
Of course,
together.
With the meter you build
and
up,
the stagger meter and all that stuff, and it's just like it. I feel like all those games had to die so that this one could live. You know what I mean? It's like those games. Like I love aspects of them, but I feel like this one's gonna bring it all together and add the look and world and style of 7. And that's going to be spectacular. Were you a big fan of Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus and like the whole compilation
Dirge of Cerberus is like not a great game. It's not, but I had fun playing it. I like Crisis Core. Advent Children is insane, but I love it. Even I know Jones loves that movie.
I really enjoy Advent Children. Actually, I like watched it with Amanda, and I was like, okay, here's what's going on. I gave her like a really quick 15-minute recap. Because I got obsessed when I did the Final Fantasy retro game trailers. I was like, okay, I wasn't attracted to this purely just because of style, and it was so different from 6 that I kind of was like, maybe I'll try Chrono Trigger or something else, like some of the RPGs that I missed that are more in line with what 6 did. But then, like, when I kind of forced myself to absorb all of it, it's like, that soundtrack is killer. Sephiroth as a character, I think, is really fascinating. The world is really cool. Obviously, it's just got, coolness, everywhere. It's just a very stylized, with a lot of intent. And even though I disliked it because it was so different from 6, it is very different from 6. I could imagine people, because I didn't play 1 through 5, I think I like knew of 1 and probably saw it played, but was not a big fan of it on the NES.
Yeah, it's weird. 6 is so different too,
So
like from the other ones.
So I could see people who had lived and breathed that, especially in Japan, you know, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that were like, whoa, this is a whole different thing, and I kind of like it.
Obviously, I loved Adventure when it came out, just because it was like, oh my god, this is the real Final Fantasy movie.
And
Fuck you,
tangent,
Spirits with
but
I saw Spirits with a Knob, you know.
Did you saw it?
I did. I
at
went
the
to a theater.
Metron?
I went to a theater.
Lucky.
No, I was out in the Midwest when this happened.
I got X-Men vibes from Advent Children, because at the end when it's like Bahamut pops up and they're like, all right, we got to take him out, and you see Vincent in the background, like,
yeah.
I was like, this is what I want.
That boss fight in the middle
why
of the
can't I
movie
get
is so
this
great.
animated X-Men movie where it's not always just like 1v1, 1v1, 1v1?
Yeah.
Like, no, I want a group
Team
fight. Like, I
ensemble
want,
stuff,
you know, Galactus or like 8 Sentinels to pop up, and in the distance, I want to see Wolverines.
Well, my big problem with the Final Fantasy VII compilation stuff, like reflecting now, is I feel like they really made Cloud this just like emo, hot topic kind of like boring
Advent
husk
Children?
of a character, and I loved seeing this game not do that. This game,
Yeah.
this is
Oh,
the
yeah.
the jerk Cloud that really cares about himself and no one else. And they're doing a really good job with the dialogue with him and Barrett of like building characters, expanding on who they were in 7 as opposed to what they became.
When actually. They don't like each other right now.
Yeah,
in the game.
which is awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you think they'll finish it? Do you think they're going to eventually get all of Final Fantasy VII out? This is something Tim was talking about on the podcast. the other day.
All the parts?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we got 313 games, so yeah. Like anything's possible after that. No one
insane.
even asked for that. And we
Do
got
you
all
remember
that.
when 13.2
Yeah, I
was
was like,
announced?
why?
It felt like an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
It was just like, no, you're not doing that. What?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll come out though, but could be a long time.
It will be a long time, right?
Yeah.
If it took
Cross
this long.
generation.
I think they're just waiting for those sales, and then I think when those numbers start rolling in,
They'll be like, oh, okay.
that's gonna like green light.
There's
the
no
rest of
way.
the project in a way that it might not have been given that much approval like beforehand.
There's no way this doesn't become the #1 highest selling Final Fantasy.
So how long is this first one going to be?
They said as long, like, there's as much content in this game as like a normal Final
That's
Fantasy
15.
game.
So probably 45 to 60 hours for it.
So yeah, I mean, it's 2 Blu-ray discs, so it's gonna be massive.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It's interesting because like we've had so many amazing remakes, even like reboots like Tomb Raider, like which there's been so many awesome opportunities this gen. I always kind of when the gen is over want to look back at just like Hitman and like all these franchises that came back that were really fascinating.
Put
to
new
me.
life back into.
Yeah, even something like Monster
Monster
Hunter.
World.
They always call it Monster World, like but that I've never really been interested in that franchise. What was one? Tales of Arise. Like, you know, like,
yeah, that looks
this
great.
Looks really good.
In your argument here and in your retrospective you're building, would you include God of War?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Because all of these things, there's not a blueprint, you know.
Sure.
So like they chose to keep as much as they wanted and change as much as they wanted, kind of like this. Like you still get some people are like livid that it's not turn-based,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So it's like you're naturally going to have that, and there's no like right way to do this. And it's just interesting to see something like Resident Evil 2, man. I'm playing that just like I don't believe it. Like I did not. My expectations were way below this.
I'm
In
such a
terms
broken
of
record.
What they would change, how good it looks, the fact that it's like RE7 and RE1 remake, and
But more,
all
even
this
more than that
combined,
together. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the 13 and 15 had to die for this to live. It's like it's the same thing where it's just like this game feels like the RE2 of Final Fantasy VII, where it's I think that they're trying to make a modern game and not remake 7. It's not just like doing it again. It's like trying to take what made that one special and expanding on it, and they're knocking it out of the park. So
my hype for it at the show is not only just 7, which again didn't play, but I'm familiar with so many aspects of it. But just what this means for the whole concept of remaking something of this size. And I see them kind of blazing a trail here for,
it could be cool.
other Final Fantasy games.
What was your favorite thing from E3?
Other than 7, I mean, obviously Cyberpunk was just insane. It was interesting because I don't know if it was fatigue or whatever, but whenever an ally would come by and be like, "Oh, hey, it's nice to meet you. Like, what are you a big fan of?" Like, I would just draw a blank. I'd be like, "Man, I don't know." A lot of times because like Ben, I didn't play Doom Eternal, but the two of you are so excited for Doom Eternal. Like, it's been really fun seeing these other big projects because to be honest, all I can think about right now is Dragon Quest Builders 2 and Ultimate Alliance because they're so close.
Yeah, that's the thing,
that's
right?
great.
And so I can talk about Breath of the Wild 2, I can talk about Cyberpunk, but the moment the dopamine kicks in and I kind of start to get hyped, it's like no. Like,
Yeah.
it just caps because it's like, what are you even doing? It's like Elder Scrolls 6. It's like, okay.
We
Like,
played
but-
Ultimate Alliance, right? We enjoyed Ultimate Alliance. Tim's like, it's not really doing anything crazy. I'm like, I know, but I want that right now.
Yeah.
Like it's it's
Yeah,
just
there's nothing wrong with
it's
that.
just junk food of beating things up in crates and seeing Miles run around with Wolverine. Like that's good enough for me right now. That's all I want to get to.
So the easy answer is Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk. Like those two were the two games.
I mean, they were undeniably the games
Wow.
of the show.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, only one of
everybody.
them won our award.
because it's
I think.
weird. Like Doom Eternal, I'm not surprised. You
Sure.
know, like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
could, from playing what I have of 2016, which is very recent actually. It was like $10 on Black Monday in December, and I'm like, it's time.
Mm-hmm.
And so impressed, so different. You know, again, old the new, everything wonderful. And so when Eternal came out, it's like, I bet this is going to be great.
Yeah.
Even Animal Crossing, I didn't know what they were going to do, but I know I'm going to play it, and I know they're probably going to pull it off. They've just done such a good job with all of their individual franchises.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to bigger, better, across the board. But 7 Remake and Cyberpunk, I was like, how can they improve upon the stuff that we'd already seen? Like, I was a little bit skeptical just because there were so many different ways it could go.
Sure.
And it was neat coming out of both of those demos. Like,
And be like, wow,
Yeah.
video games are cool, man.
especially
So
Cyberpunk. I can't believe that I sat through 2 almost hour-long demos of that game, and both of them just
Yeah.
Blew you
were
away?
so
And
great,
look
so
totally
different,
different,
and so
too.
like,
Yeah.
and it's fun talking to Ian because they brought up like the skill tree, and Ian just like leans over to me and he's just like, blades hacking. And I just like lean back to him and I'm just like, and like he's gonna go Street Kid, and I'm like corporate all the
I'm
way
going corporate, baby. What are you doing?
Street
Yeah.
Kid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
See, I feel like everyone's going to go Street Kid. I'm looking at corporate. I'm like, I'm going to roleplay the fuck out of that, and I'm going to have fun.
This game, it's going to be. Every great RPG has those moments, but I really am excited to jump ahead to whatever when we've all beaten it and having this thing and sitting there and having that. Wait, what did you do? Where did you invest your points? And how did you build? And what did you do in this situation? You didn't even see that situation. It's similar to how we were talking about Dying Light 2 briefly on your content, right? Where I haven't even talked about that on this show, but like where they talked about like there's pivotal choices in that drastically change it, right? And so the demo we saw was basically like, do you want to switch these water pumps on? Yes or no? Somebody's lying to you. You don't know who.
Yeah.
When they switched on the water pumps there, they drained this city, and then it was a city full of new quests and things to go do, blah, blah. And they're like, all right, any questions? They're like, well, yeah, like if I went the other way and didn't drain the city, do I not get that world? He's like, no, you don't get that world. Like you would never have seen all this stuff that everyone spent all this time with. Like that's
Wow, that's
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
In Cyberpunk, what are the 3 different classes that you can choose?
Street Kid.
Well, these are backstories.
Yeah, that's your backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it?
There are no
Class-
Yeah,
classes.
because there's no classes.
No,
It's
there's
like
no class
cool.
system.
they're all the
It'll
attributes.
it'll
they're like
come up
Kamari
with a
in
name
Final
for
Fantasy
what
X.
your point allocation. It'll like average it and be like, you're a this
Kinda this,
based on the points that you accumulated.
Yeah.
But you don't. It doesn't go the other way around. where
But
you
then
pick it and
what
then
were the
things.
3 backstory things? Because there was Street Kid,
Nomad, I
Corporate.
think.
Nomad. That's what it was, and then
Which
corporate.
is the main character we're seeing. The protagonist we've seen in both of those trailers is a nomad.
Nomad,
Because I think
yeah.
when they had one or two characters, there's like an image of what that would look like. He was the nomad character.
But yeah, I think it's even more interesting beyond the backstories when you start investing the points, right? Because it's like when you play like Fallout and you put it into luck or whatever, you're like, I don't know, what
What's
does
that
this
even
really
mean?
perception stuff?
Yeah.
And then when it was just cool, you're like, well, what does that mean? And when they actually jumped in and it was like, cool, leads to assassinations and sniper rifles, right? And then it was like body had shotguns. I was like, oh my gosh, I see what you're doing and how this is going to spiral out to what I actually want. The breadcrumb trail of going to the perks and things you want.
Even just that demo, we all had different favorite moments.
Yeah.
Like my moment that I thought was so funny and I thought was just a great job, because like when like they're doing presentations and they try to like put a joke in there and you're like, okay, like just do the demo please. But like
That like slow pan,
one
and the guy's
thing-
like, oh, I don't know how he's doing that. Like, you've said this 15 times.
Well, one gameplay bit that was like I laughed out loud when I saw it in the demo is he switched over to the female character who had strength.
Yeah.
And he was like, so now we don't have to hack this area. And she just goes to the door. And
I was like, oh my
slams
god,
it
I'm going to
open.
build a stealthy Superman character, right?
And it's that to me, like that's a good MMO when you're like, oh, I'm gonna be like any MMO, like I'm gonna be a ranger. If it's stealth and bow and arrows and knives, like that's me. But you get in a party and you see someone else and you're like, oh, that's a cool armor. You're constantly like, the grass is always greener. I'm still satisfied with my experience, but oh, that's so cool. Like that, that
That's
ability
what I
that
was
you
talking
have or
about
something.
in the conversations about Cyberpunk, is I really do feel it'll be the first RPG in a long time that I have legitimately role played at. I feel like in previous RPGs, I'm making characters. I'm usually making Taylor Swift, or I'm usually making Caleb.
Yeah.
And both of them are just good people, going to do the right things. And I feel like Cyberpunk already is such a gray area.
Yeah.
You're already starting from such a street punk, street gutter kid thing that is already putting you in a place where
That's why I want to be the corporate guy, dude.
even if I try to make the right decisions, I'm going to have to screw over somebody somewhere and do all these different things.
Did you guys play The Witcher 3?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's like kind of that in The Witcher 3. You can see like where it's being built up, especially from like 2, which is like 1 to 2 are like huge leaps, and 3 is the hugest leap. And just how crazy Cyberpunk looks and how many stuff you can do. It's like they're just going from like 3 to 10 and like how much you can do in Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I saw that skill tree and I was like, good God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I just can't believe how the world seems to be so living and breathing, and it's like
So many
that.
NPCs.
That to me is next gen gaming.
I didn't
Whereas-
believe them when they said that last year. I was like, no, this is not current gen. I'm like, I don't believe you because they're
And
like,
we're
no
seeing
loading, no nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, yeah, April or something. I was like, what?
But one of my favorite parts in this demo was they walked into this like concert venue, and then there was like a DJ performing, and like there was a ton of NPCs like kind of dancing around and stuff. And the way that your character moved through the crowd and that people would move, I believed it. And I'm like, they all look like different people. They're not just reskins over and over. And it's like, oh man, and then you can leave. And I'm like, I believe that concert's still happening.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy, you know?
I loved the when you walk in, right, and they're giving the speech, and you see it translating words above people's heads, right, because you don't speak the language, but you have the mod, and they were like, you could not have that mod. You can walk in here and not understand any of this. Like,
I
those
even
were
thought
cool.
I thought that was cool, where it wasn't just like the subtitles at the bottom of the screen, but
Yeah,
it was like
over their
kind of
heads.
attached to the
Yeah,
characters.
yeah, yeah.
So you would walk into a room and know where everyone is and what they're talking to each other. But like if you hear it muffled out, you would hear it in the room or like distant. But being able to read and see it translate, I'm like, God, dude, it's just so stylish. And like every single decision made feels like it is to enhance the game and to enhance the experience of the user. And it feels like every gameplay like control option that you have is based on the augments that you have in character in the world. It's like, man.
And I often feel too like this grand, because I adore open world games, and I feel like there's always this like huge gap between the world and you. Like loved Horizon, but you definitely get the sense like no one is like Aloy. No, everyone when she walks into a room, like you're definitely like an outcast, a weirdo. And even something like GTA, where like you kind of blend in, like my character model looks a lot better than these other characters, and like they're just kind of wandering around. Every GTA game I've ever played, I'll like go to some random park in the middle of the night, and there's like 10 people. I'm like, what? You wouldn't be here. So like it's the world is set up almost perfectly for me. But when I look out, I don't get a sense that these other people live here. And even if it's just like 5 seconds where I'm kind of pulled out of that world, like I remember those moments, and like that's where I get a sense of, okay, here's how we could improve this, like in next gen. And like both of the demos I've seen for Cyberpunk, it's like you're a person. That's it.
Just
like,
in the
you are
world,
no more important than anybody else in this world. If anything, like you're like that concert, and when you're like getting into the butcher, you know, like meeting that guy, or you're like going to people's offices, there's this sense of like, I do not belong here. I am not. All eyes are on me right now, and it's always like a little bit tense.
And I think that's been an interesting theme of these kind of games in this E3, where when you jump over to Watch Dogs, one of the things I didn't talk about, but it was most interesting, was this idea of, you can recruit this team of 20, there's 3 different classes, everybody gets 3 perks, but there's way more perks, but you have to figure out what you mix and match. And they were talking about, I was like, oh, so I can have a whole team of enforcers, but they all have different perks. And they were like, yes, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. Like, they said, this game, there is no savior for this game. There is no one person that can do everything and make sure it works. It has to be a team effort. It's a world, right, that's building into itself. So you need multiple people with different skills, different talents to come in and do this.
And I got GTA 5 vibes from Watch Dogs Legion, like when they cut to Helen in that demo, and she's just leaning on like the river and looking out. It like reminded me of like, oh, look,
So
when you would
GTA.
switch to Michael, and you'd see him in a park somewhere, and so it's like, love that when you see even like Sleeping Dogs with Melee, like you'd have an open world game that would come around and just nail one thing, and you'd see another developer like, gotcha.
Piggybacking off those ideas.
Case in point, Spider-Man. Like I would imagine the team working on Avengers is like noted, like taking some little bits about how they handle those characters, how they change stuff up.
Based on Tim's impressions of it, I have to imagine they were playing Spider-Man like, oh my god,
Oh my god,
why are we so off track?
Oh man, yeah, it's interesting bringing up Cyberpunk and Watch Dogs together, because like it's cool. We've never really seen that in games before, where it is like you're just you're
love
not
it.
like a main character. Like there
Legion,
are,
right? It's in the title. You are a legion of people
very
working
cool.
on this one thing.
And with Cyberpunk, like it's crazy to me where we've now seen 2-hour-long demos that were totally different. And I don't know that the final game's going to be like this the entire time, but I'm willing to bet it is, because so far, every single time I'm like, I don't know if it's like, oh, no, it is with this game.
Yeah.
But, like, everything you do feels weirdly inconsequential. Like, everything that they're doing doesn't feel like it's part of this giant narrative that's, like, building towards a story.
Right.
But it all seems interesting. And it's like, it seems like this game's going to just have so many side quests that aren't side quests. It's just quests everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, is there going to be a side quest? Or
It
is
finally
just
got there
gonna
at
be
the end.
Yeah.
The end of this latest demo finally got into like, oh, okay, this seems like a big deal. Okay,
Yeah,
now,
well,
now my
The
character's
Keanu stuff.
getting well,
I
not
feel like
Keanu,
brings
but
you there.
the going into the systems,
cyberspace.
Oh,
and then there's
yeah.
more beyond the frontiers of this digital world, and like here we go. Oh,
Yeah, here we
that's
go.
a potential, main NPC we're dealing with or villain or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's fun. That's like what I always look for in trailers and demos and everything, where it's like a clear understanding enough for me to know where this project is at, and then those couple little teases. Oh man, you're killing me with that extra stuff. Like,
Yeah.
again, like with Avengers, like that Hank Pym moment, they thought was that.
Yeah,
they were like,
yeah,
this is gonna floor them, and you're like, no, not so much.
I don't know about that. Greg, was there any other games that you played that we haven't talked about yet?
Tons. I mean,
Yeah.
we played so much. I think the one thing I haven't brought up is Catherine Full Body Edition.
Interesting.
I'll go over there and screw with that. I liked Catherine a lot back in the day on PlayStation 3, and I think one of the most exciting things is that they're trying to, in a good way, dumb this game down as much as possible. Because what happened with me is I was playing Catherine, I was having a great time. Is everybody familiar with Catherine?
Yep.
Like, the
Yeah.
gameplay of it. If you're not, you're moving blocks trying to get out of these dream sequences to get back to
Hubert-looking.
your horrible life where you've cheated on your girlfriend and she's pregnant and now this new girl won't leave you alone. Now they're adding a third girl to the mix in this movie or game. Anyways, I played it for the entire week we had it, then went away for a week to some show, came back and went back to it and couldn't remember the basics of moving the blocks, and it was one of those like, I'm gonna have to restart this whole game, and I'm like, I don't have time to restart this game, so I never did. I was excited to get another shot at it, period. But then on top of this, they've added in two different. There's easy mode or easy difficulty, I should say, and then the other one is called safety. And what both of these do is that if you get stumped by a puzzle, you can turn on autoplay. And it'll go and do it. And like, granted, it would block you out of a trophy if it was like, do this many moves and that thing. But it is that thing of like, just do it for me. And then once you see them do it, you can
like,
say, actually, you know what? I want to do it. And you go back and do it yourself.
That's some real Nintendo shit, man.
Totally, yeah. Just
Love
love the gameplay itself.
Yeah.
But I do like it because that would have saved me so much time. And it would have also shown me, like, oh, right, that's how you do this. This is how you change.
Well, that's how you learn the different like skills that you're going to take to the next level.
And that was their whole thing. Like, Catherine will teach you the tornado method and all these different things of how to move the blocks appropriately to get you to this one spot. And so I was like, it looks better. Obviously, I wrote down a bunch of notes. The new in-engine cutscenes, because they're telling you now a backstory to Vincent and Catherine, his girlfriend Catherine, telling a backstory of how they fell in love and what their relationship used to be like, to give them more context for why any of this matters. They showed one of those. It seems super cool. There's 13 endings now, 500 puzzles. They're adding in online multiplayer. There's 50% more story. Like, it seems like a really well done version of a game. I don't think that was criminally underplayed at the time. Let alone the fact that everybody loves Atlas and Persona.
Because everyone's like, just make Persona.
Yeah, exactly. What is this weird? What is this weird relationship puzzle game? So I'm excited to see that have another shot at it.
The one other game that I played that we didn't talk about yesterday was Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Oh, how was that?
I'm curious to get your because Hubert and I had a rollicking demo, and what did you hear? Were you listening in when we talked about that game?
No.
That was hands down the loopiest impressions we've done at E3 2019.
Oh, you're playing with Hubert, so yeah.
We were it was hilarious. I recut it last night, actually. You can check it out, youtube.com/easyallies. Because we just rolled in one clip of B-roll, and then I actually downloaded the clip from Twitch, put B-roll when we were talking about something exactly the shot that we were talking about. Because I mean, we're running gun. We get back, and I throw the hard drive at the guys and run onto the stage to talk about it. But lots of crazy ups and downs. It was one of those things where it was tough to communicate like what we did in the demo versus how I think I'm going to play the game when it comes out.
Yeah. The demo was very. We did a 4-player situation. It was co-op. There's 4 different characters. You went by your names, and the guy leading the demo were I was Vasily the sniper. So it was Vasily, go ahead, whatever. And I'm going through. The game seems needlessly complicated.
Well, did you do a lot in the demo?
We did a lot.
That was what we talked about. It's we were like you were screaming during the impressions. He's like, I just wanted to take a break. Like we just kept going and going and going. And the main leader would be like, oh well, I didn't think we'd finish that right away. Well, and then he would just move to the next area and say, teleport to my position on the map, and we get there, and then he would just immediately rush in. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it was really weird. Like there was a lot of different gameplay styles they were trying to show off, and like maybe it was just like a bad demo of how they showed it, because like I didn't get the grasp of any of it, and I felt like the controls were weird, where you'd have to hold L1 to kind of cycle through. That
was a little
cumbersome. Like it's just weird. Yeah. There's like a wheel that has your weapons and your items on the same wheel.
Okay.
But then you need to hold L1, and then it's just one wheel. And then you start going, because it's just your inventory.
Yeah.
And then you use the right stick to kind of like go wherever you want. Then you have to hit R1 to like select it as your the thing that you're trying to do. Then you have to get out of that, and then you have to hold R1 to go through the animation of doing whatever weapon or syringe or band-aid or whatever that you're
That's needlessly
using.
complicated.
And it's like it's trying to be realistic. It's trying to be like, it's slow, and it's like, you know, whatever. It's like to equip the rocket launcher, it's not just hit Y and it's like gun change. You know, it is.
If you're an audio listener, Tim just enacted what
and then like, and it takes forever. And then if you accidentally let go of R1,
he just stops.
Then it stops. Then you got the other gun equipped. The rocket launcher's gone. I'm like, I have to do it again to pull it out. And like that stuff was really, really weird. There was one mission that was a lot of fun though, where we went out and it was the four of us, and there was like this high-tech tank that was like deploying drones everywhere. And we all had rocket launchers equipped, and we needed to get in like 4 different corners and surround this tank. And like 3, 2, 1, go, shoot, and like started rocket launching the hell out of it. And it felt so good to see this thing explode and all of us like kind of be around. But it felt very contrived in the way where I'm like, I don't think that moment would ever happen in real life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that any group of friends are going to be that coordinated casually to be able to make that moment feel that cool.
See, that was my problem with the original, well, not the original, with Wildlands, where we went to that E3 demo and we all were on comms and we were being led by Red Leader or whoever it was, and we were syncing. It was great. And I was like, this is really cool. And then when we got it at the office and did the party mode, it was, all right, everybody, oh, Nick just shot a goat. Oh, they heard it. Now this is, oh, God, all right, God. And then Kevin's like, what's going on? And like
I played Wildlands single player 100%, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think I played, just to check it out. I think I did one stream with Huber. And,
sure, yeah.
And I might have jumped on to try it like a DLC or something with someone else. But
what this reminded me, what it reminded me of a lot was the, I expected a bit more of a jump from Wildlands. I feel like this is a sidestep, if not even a little bit worse than what we played of Wildlands, where, we had Assassin's Creed Origins, and then it went to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it's like, it seems like everybody's like, oh my God, Odyssey is a huge step up from Origins.
I wish that was true. A lot of people argue the opposite. They're monsters.
But thinking back to like the older Assassin's Creed games, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like at some point it's like, oh, Legion's coming out. It's like, which one was that one? Unity? I don't know. It's like, this feels like the Assassin's Creed Unity of Ghost Recon, where it's like I'd want the Odyssey.
You want to jump,
and it's just like, it was just weird. John Bernthal's cool, but like,
was his dog there?
No, we didn't see his dog. Did not see.
Was anybody else confused at Ubisoft? Why this dog?
Final Boss.
Cute dog, adorable dog, but it wasn't just like, hey guys, couldn't find a dog sitter.
I feel like we saw a dog in one of the trailers for it, but
I think it's like an emotional support
Yeah,
animal.
who
really?
I think
dropped
so.
that? Who dropped that?
I forgot who said that to us.
Somebody was in. I think it might have been Ian, and I think Ian said he worked on some commercial shoot or something for Walking Dead when the first season happened, and he showed up at the event and he had 2 dogs, and Ian was like, he had 2 dogs at the time. He's like,
no.
I don't know the lore behind maybe what happened to that other dog, but I think it's like his spirit animal.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And you could tell also from like as people, I don't know how my dog's also smaller, but a little bit taller, a little bit more of a capable of getting in trouble than Porty is.
Sure.
But no way could I bring Sophie out on a crowd like screaming like that. Like,
I'd love
so
to
when
try.
you see a dog that's like, I'm good. He can
Yeah.
do whatever, and I will be right at his leg.
Interesting.
That's not just like, oh, my pet. That's
See,
like clearly that job.
That's
that
awesome.
dog's
And I
job.
wish I would have known. When he came out of Ubisoft, I was like, oh, the dog's in the game. And then we watched the footage, and I was like, there's no dog in this game. What is going on?
Yeah, I was.
Bam, bam.
It was definitely a weird demo, and I didn't leave impressed from that one. And honestly, like, I feel like the way the demo was done, I was like, this is bizarre. And it feels like many people here don't want to be here right now.
It was weird.
That's the worst.
Wildlands was funny for me because we got it and it was like just a crazy month, and I remember Blood being like, "You can review this?" I'm like, "No, there's no way." And I'm like, "I'm probably not even gonna finish this game." And then I played a little bit more and was like, maybe I could review it. I don't know. And then I'm like, I might stream it. Never streamed it, but then played the entire thing because I kept like wanting a little bit more and a little bit more, and I loved the systems of how you like took this drug cartel down. Like, that was really satisfying. Like, I don't know if you played Far Cry 5 at all, but like when you would finish one of those like 3 areas, like you just didn't feel the satisfaction. Like it would conclude in an arc that you're like, well, that character's just dumb. Like I was never intimidated by them, and like that final boss fight with them was like whatever. And Wildlands had about a dozen of them, and so it was the same kind of like impact, but there were so many of them that they were different enough that it really felt good. Like I am, like you could get a sense that the other people that were still alive were pissed.
Yeah.
They're like, what is this guy doing? What is his team? These ghosts are just wrecking us.
Yeah.
And so I liked it when I first saw the trailer and they set up like really focusing on the villain. It's like, I bet it's pretty fun to like hear him over the radio be like, I'm gonna get you. You're like, ha ha ha. Like, I took out your commander.
Yeah.
So none of that was in there. Like that vibe just wasn't in it. And like so many tools, even like the campsite thing. I was like, oh neat. And I'm like looking through the menus and he's like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, all right. Cool. I'd love to just have time. And so it's tough. Again, back to this theme of like, what do you show? What do you bring?
Yeah.
How do you isolate it? And like, on one hand, it was kind of frustrating to just like, try to wrangle this host and like, follow him around everywhere. Yeah. But at the same time, if you are that person representing this game from the company, like, wouldn't you want to show as much as you can? And
well, think about it too, because it's 4 people who've never played the game before. What if there is?
They might not know each other.
And it's the one person who doesn't want to look through their menus, right? And then you have a Fran Mirabella who wants to do it for 40 minutes and not play the game. You know what I mean? Like, you need to give them this thing, and hopefully the gameplay is enough to get them hooked.
Yeah, it's hard, and I feel like at the end of the day, the thing I liked least about it was like how realistic it was trying to be, because I feel like that's not fun for this type of game where it's just like it's so cool to come up on a camp and be like, how are we gonna get into this? What are we gonna? I see those guys over there. There's mortars over there. We got to take down. Like, let's go. Yeah. But like, it reminds me a lot of like Just Cause, and like playing Just Cause. Like Just Cause is awesome. It's like it's fun. It's crazy. It's the same idea, but like it throws realism out the window because it's more fun to jump into a wingsuit. Yeah, and I feel like this like has elements where I'm like the rocket launcher stuff. It's like that is cool as hell, but it's like it shouldn't feel this like. But it's real.
Mm-hmm. You know in Division, Greg, when you when you clear
whatever
a room,
you're about to say, I know.
When a room ends in Division and you're like, we smoked that crew. Like they didn't stand a chance. Like that's Ghost Recon for me. It's like when you finish one of those missions, like like that, and it took a little more setup than the time we had in that demo.
Yeah,
and whether you do that by yourself and you just literally pop the drone, target every single person, get through an entire base without anyone seeing you there. It's like that took an hour and 15 minutes, but that was great. And doesn't demo that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily come across.
Initial reports are putting Bam Bam as just one of John's 3 rescue pit bulls.
Okay.
Cool.
Before we move on to hear more about the lore of Bam Bam, I want to let you know.
Oh, goodness. He's got props.
This episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Movement Sunglasses. You shouldn't have to choose between overpriced designer sunglasses and cheap shades that won't last you this summer. That's why I wear Movement Sunglasses. And so does Greg Miller.
I do.
That's right.
I didn't know we were doing this.
Yeah.
I would have brought mine.
You would have? Yeah. Well, I feel pretty cool right now in my sunglasses. The Los Angeles-based accessories brand has hundreds of premium, affordable sunglass styles to choose from. So whether you're into more timeless shapes like these, or classic round sunnies, or something that makes a statement like a fun 90s skinny frame, they've got them all. We're in Los Angeles right now with my Movement glasses. Well, how serendipitous. With that, the free shipping and returns policy, you can try on as many styles as you want right from home. They make it super easy. Gia loves these things. She has like 10 pairs now. Every style, every color. She's always wearing them. You get to pick a style design that you personally like, and then you just get to order it. If you don't like it, you can send it back. No problem at all. Movement sunglasses start at $60, and no pair prices over $95. So you're guaranteed to find a style you love with quality it doesn't break the bank. They've sold over 2.5 million products across more than 160 countries, and their collections are always expanding. You can get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to mvmt.com/kinda. See why Movement keeps growing. Check out their expanding collection. Go to mvmt.com/kinda. Do you have this part, Greg?
You're going to like the Movement. I guarantee it.
join the move.
Dang it.
You know what
I
I
was close. You know?
Yeah.
You were close.
I was in the ballpark. Movement
Yes.
was in it, which is helpful.
I'm gonna have a movement.
Nope,
No?
they don't want
No?
that for sure.
And also, shout out to Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all of your profits. Plus, there's no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data, and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections, such as 100 most popular. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you'll never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood's giving listeners of the Kind of Funny Gamescast a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at greggy.robinhood.com. That's greggy.robinhood.com.
I'd like to read
Thank you.
2 paragraphs from boardpanda.com, all right? It's going to seem like I'm just telling you facts that aren't interesting, but then we're going to get to an interesting side note, all right? It may not shock you to find out that his love for animals is genetic. John Bernthal's father is the chairman of the board of the Humane Society of the United States, who he has partnered with on a PSA against animal cruelty.
Wow.
In addition to his HSUS, the 40-year-old actor has become one of the many faces of the Majority Project, a non-profit animal farm foundation. The goal of this campaign is to shine a light on the breed with positive images from owners. While Bernthal likes to focus on the peaceful side of these animals, he himself has gotten physical over them. In an interview, the actor admitted that in 2009 he knocked a guy out cold once to defend his dog Boss. The guy was drunk and had followed the pair after being warned not to touch the pit bull. The encounter ended with Bernthal in handcuffs, and while he's not proud of the fight, it's clear nobody should try to mess with this man's dog.
God.
Real life John Wick, man. That's
Don't mess
crazy.
with Bertha.
Yeah,
I
don't
know.
mess with Burnt Johnny
You see
B.
that guy and you want to like pick a fight
Let
with
me
him?
touch your
With him and his
dog!
pit bull? No, dude. No
Shane,
thanks.
let me touch your dog!
Do people get weird with dogs? Like, do we
something.
like? I live in the Southern California on like
Sure.
the west side of LA, and like there's so many people that don't leash their dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And then the dog's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Hey, Sophie's not cool on the leash. She's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
protective.
totally.
She's not cool. Oh, she's gonna be fine. I'm telling you, she's not.
Yeah.
I'm her owner. You don't know her. Maybe listen to me before you force this in her. Okay, you're all right." And then Sophie's like, "Get the hell away from me."
Yeah,
And I'm,
Portillo's the exact
"Oh."
same way. Where I'll be walking and people's dogs are coming at me, and I'll move or I'll pick them up, and they'll be like, "Oh, my dog's nice," and they go, "Mine is not.
Yeah.
Mine is an
Yeah.
asshole."
Yeah.
You've seen, like you've seen, Porty in his element. Like
Yeah.
this is an angel,
Yeah,
you know,
of course,
of a being.
It's true.
But it just in some situations
Yeah,
not
yeah, he doesn't
comfortable.
want to.
Yeah.
Gotta know.
Yeah.
Gotta know the
Not all of
pooches.
us are,
Gotta know the pooches.
Gotta know the pooches.
Not every
What
dog
were
can
your
have
favorite?
John as
What
an
were
owner.
your favorite dogs at E3?
That the one at Ghostwire.
That one breaks
Tokyo.
your heart, though. The Shiba
Oh.
Inu.
Shiba Inu.
Just
Yeah,
sitting
just
out
by
there.
himself
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
leash.
like, oh my god.
A dog with a leash, because I'm so morbid, man. Like I think of the most creepy, dark, scary stuff sometimes. Because it's fun, and like I'll be walking Sophie, and I'll walk her at night, like right before I go to bed, and I'll always have that thought, like, hey, what if I get hit by a car, or what if I get mugged, or something happens? Like I'm in my neighborhood, and it's pretty chill, but I have this idea of just like Amanda hearing barking, and like there's Sophie with a leash
Yeah,
on,
leash
just
on,
like
yeah.
something happened, like.
Yeah.
So that hit me right in the feels.
That'll
when I
get you,
saw
yeah.
that, like, oh.
I love
The
that one.
clothes just
It's a
falling.
wiener dog video, but it applies to everybody. That woman who fakes like having a heart attack or whatever, where she's walking her dog on the track and collapses. But she's filming and collapses, and the dog just keeps on going. Just totally oblivious to this.
That's so
Like, totally fine. See you later. I imagine that's what Porty would do as well.
Yeah. I imagine Jenna opening the door and Bordy's eating your face.
Yeah,
Just like,
exactly. Oh,
Hi.
hey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Watchdogs. That's for your favorite dog of E3.
Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah, I
do
was
that.
teeing
I
up for
don't
that.
play
I'm
game.
also trying to find.
So many people are doing the
name of
fishing
game.
thing. I'm like, oh, there's no dogs in Watch Dogs. That was like the headline. I'm like, this is where we're at for E3.
This is where we're at.
Get it out. Get it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Tire yourself out. Did anyone play Borderlands 3?
No.
No.
No, but we went to an event recently. Blood's like on it.
did.
Blood's played it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's things. I played it too.
Oh, I think
played at the reveal event or whatever.
I think this morning he said it was the same demo. So he was
Okay,
like,
okay. That was my thing, is I saw it at Xbox, and I thought it was the same demo. And then last night, when we were trying to figure out Games Award stuff, I was like, oh, is it different? Is it not? And I was Googling around. It sounded like there was maybe a new demo at the Gearbox area.
Yeah.
No? Okay, good.
And they blew it out, man. They had a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
presence
Yeah.
at the show. So
South
good,
Shine,
good for them.
I was trying to find the name of this game, and I still can't find it. So someone in the comments, I'm sure, will be able to help. In the indie section of E3, where I played Killer Queen Black,
Sure.
there was this game with an amazing art style, like cartoon, looked hand-drawn, and it was about dogs. and you're like,
Oh,
these little,
you were like the taglines.
The
"You're a good
tagline
boy,"
is
right?
"You are the good boy," and
What?
like it's adorable looking dogs. And I was just watching someone play, but it looked kind of like if the battle system of South Park Fractured But Whole and like a tower defense game kind of had a baby, and you're just like, there's a bunch of dogs that were like on this like wall, and like enemies were coming towards the wall, and you need to like use South Park style gameplay to stop them from getting there without being overwhelmed, and it looked awesome.
But your dogs?
And there's, I don't know if, well, the title was "You Are the Good Boy."
That
so
sounds really awesome.
Yeah.
I want to be the good boy in that.
Yeah, right.
That sounds
This-
hype.
and I wish I
Yeah.
wrote the name down, but because it looked really good. But someone will get that.
They will. You look at the comments below. I'm not finding it with an easy.
Yeah, I thought I found
Well,
it, but I didn't.
that's what's so funny about the showcase in the PC gaming show was we'd finish and literally they would just end and we'd be like, okay, all right, that's a lot of games. Okay, first game is this.
Which one?
Which
What was
one
that
that?
game?
Yeah. That's the
Spark,
problem
click.
too. But that's why we decided to have it be a YouTube video where we're like, we know if you just remember that there was a game, you can just always go back and pause and like see the information there.
Your Twitter feed was on it.
Yep.
You know,
Oh, and that
popping
too.
on all these
That
links
too.
and everything.
Yeah. But that's always hard. So I guess speaking of that, actually, press conferences. What do we think overall?
What, the best ones? Or
Yeah.
how were they overall? I think Nintendo's was my favorite,
Yeah.
personally. That Breath of the Wild reveal at the end, just like,
Yeah.
that's like what we always want from a press conference.
It's a
Just like
genuine surprise.
Yeah. That was pretty good. Showed a lot of gameplay. I really get annoyed when we see games and we don't learn anything about it. Like, I liked what you guys did because you did talk about what the game was, which is great. And I feel like Nintendo showed that a lot. I know, like, they didn't give us like enough Animal Crossing Jones and stuff like that. They did do the Treehouse, but I wish there was more in it. But
Sure.
I thought
But
it
there
was,
was more, and,
Yeah.
and I still got what I wanted, which
Yeah.
is premise,
But,
something
like,
new,
Bethesda,
looked better,
like I always get mad at Bethesda because
Yeah.
they always do they always do the pat on the back moments about themselves for like 10 minutes about how rad they are, and it's just like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it, Todd. It's okay.
or just get it all out of your system.
But
at the
then they
beginning
showed me
and
like
then
Doom, and I'm
get
like,
into it.
hell yeah, this rules.
We're getting a lot of shit for being as positive as we are about Bethesda's conference.
I mean, it's fine.
and I think that like the thing that we stand by
I really
is,
wish I was a.
Yeah.
You deservedly so. You
Yeah.
suck.
What?
but I like the addition of 2 new IPs with
Yeah.
Deathloop and with
Oh, yeah.
the
Like, it's-
Tokyo.
Ghost-
Yeah,
Ghostwire,
that's great. Like
Ghostwire.
those things I love. Like there's some good stuff in there, but there's just stuff that they do.
There was
sometimes
a
that
lot
I
of-
just
It,
don't like.
reminds me of hitting every red light. You know, and like you're so close to home and you just hit every red
That's a
light.
really good way to
Come
put it.
on. And you can see all the greens. Green, 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 green. And then you hit one red and then they all turn red down the road. We're just like speed bumps, you know, just like, hi, I'm the person from this dev game, applause. We have this idea that we want to do for this game, more applause.
Yeah.
And then we, thanks to our community, and we're okay, more. And it's just like, just pick
Like,
one
okay,
thing to applaud
let's-
and then show the damn
Let's
game.
go.
Like, stop it.
I'm happy
Better
we
than
have
last year, though.
you
I
here
thought.
for this one. So Square's conference, I thought had really, really, really high highs.
Sure.
And had a lot of really bizarre
Strange
choices
moments,
in the
sure,
middle.
yeah.
Dragon Quest Builders trailer literally clocked in at over 5 minutes.
Dude, I love that trailer though because it talked so much about the game. It like showed what this
but
game
it's
was.
a
Announcer,
lot
wasn't
of
that announcer like, it's Dragon Quest Builders?
Yeah, and that's
No,
what
for
it should
5
be. Like,
minutes.
it should be some guy going
kind of
crazy
ridiculous.
about Dragon Quest Builders, man.
You
For a
care-
minute though.
You
not for
gotta
5
be careful
minutes.
how you talk about builders
Nah,
in this
I
studio.
get it. But that's what I'm saying.
It's
is
like
like,
you're highfalutin San Francisco.
when we ended the conference and we were talking about it, I'm hyped out of my mind about Final
Yeah.
Fantasy. A little let down by Avengers, but we saw it, so at least there was like a lot to talk about. And it was me, Andy, and Greg that watched it, and like I was obviously way higher on it than they were because of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
But because there was so much JRPG stuff in the middle, so many ports, so many remasters, so many like things that like it was overwhelming. Where it's like I didn't understand most of them, but then it's like Final Fantasy VIII's finally being
Yeah.
remastered. That's insane, and like that matters to me. It doesn't matter to them. So
Yeah,
I feel
of
like
course.
I was higher on the conference as a whole, whereas they're kind of like, I
Yeah.
really didn't like the
I
middle.
mean, yeah.
What'd you think about the middle? Because I feel like you.
I'm
lean
trying to
more
remember
on
what
that
they announced.
stuff.
They announced the Mana collection, I think, which is really cool.
Mana
Like,
collection.
just like games like that are coming over, like obviously 8, it's like it's finally happening.
Yeah.
And
So-
it didn't look just like an upres.
So here's how Square went. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Life is Strange, Crystal Chronicles, Octopath, Last Remnant Remastered, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Bold Luminary. Oh no, this is Dragon Quest 11. Then the Square Enix collective stuff, Battalion 1944 or whatever is what I wrote.
That was
Oh,
weird.
right.
That was weird.
That was weird. Yeah. That was
Square
weird.
Enix music, Kingdom Hearts, whatever. Final Fantasy, this is just my notes, sorry.
Yeah,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy 14, Shadowbringers, Dying Light 2, Romancing Solo 2 and Saga, Scarlet Saga, Final Fantasy Brave Exodus, and The War of the Visions, Outriders, People Can Fly, Oni Inaki,
Inaki,
and
yeah.
then Final Fantasy 8, and then Avengers.
Outriders had a weird showing.
It was weird, but again, new IP though. At least like I think that's exciting. That announcements are really.
The thing I liked about it is it was like a bookend kind of. Started out real hype. Real hype, then you ended with something what everyone was hyped to see. It didn't go the way everyone wanted, but I
Yeah.
think that was like a wise decision to like have the two big ones at the end. I love the middle. I like just like the smaller games, and a lot of them were just like, it's out now. It's coming out real soon. Just little stuff like that. But it is hard to like be really into it if you're not into the games.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, I don't really care about the game. It's like I totally understand that.
It's weird because it's like how many fucking Final Fantasies are you gonna
but
talk
this is
about?
a JRPG company right here,
Yeah.
so we're all hyped about it.
Right.
And it gets weird though because Square, I feel more than any of the other developers, publishers, definitely people that do the press conferences, they have an identity problem of the Western side versus the Japanese side,
Yeah.
where it's like for years, anytime they'd be talking about Tomb Raider or
Yes.
Deus Ex or whatever, everyone would be like, "Where's Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah.
Where's Final Fantasy?"
Square's like sometimes clueless in that. Like I think they've gotten better over time, but they've definitely had missteps where they're just like, here's something you don't really care about right now. It's like, okay, I guess like Deus Ex is really cool and I like Tomb Raider, but it's like it's not like your main core audience.
But see, that's the weird thing about this conference is it is one half of it, and then
now it
there's
is,
the other
yeah.
side. It's like, but you can't please everyone because
Yeah.
there's such different groups.
That's why I think you just got to be who you got to be, and that was the thing at the end of it. It wasn't even so much I felt. It is and it isn't, right? We always try to separate. Hey, what are we fans of, and what are we trying to critically, analyze? I thought it was just like these things that we went through. They were long and confusing outside of not being necessarily a fan or having nostalgia for them, and that's what Andy and I think we're talking about in terms of like a droopy midsection, right? Like Square is just the JRPG company, and they are like leaning in on that. Totally be yourself, do these things. I just think again, like Dragon Quest, I think there's a better way to present that.
Sure.
Like, the confusing message on some of the remasters, there's a better way to present that.
Absolutely.
Japanese marketing in general, especially when it comes to like DLC or projects that you're already familiar with, seems to almost be catered like straight to people that love it.
Yeah.
And that that's something where I've always
totally.
kind of criticized or this again. It might just be difference of culture. It's just kind of me like with the big Inception, like the type of trailers and marketing we're used to in the States.
Yeah.
So Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC.
Yeah.
Remind. Right?
Yeah.
What did that do for you? Because honestly, it turned me off a lot.
So it seemed like just different perspectives of the story, and I was like, okay, that's like cool, I guess, but I kind of like, I hope there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
But it was the same trailer we saw the night before, pretty
At
much.
the
I was like,
concert.
oh, why'd they do that?
See, I skipped out. I didn't watch the Final Fantasy 7 or Kingdom Hearts trailers that came out because I was like, I'm just going to watch them in the thing. And like the Kingdom Hearts thing happened, and I'm like, how is there still no sound effects in this trailer?
I don't
we literally
know
don't have voices.
why they do that.
It's so
I don't know
bizarre.
if that's like a Nomura call or something, but like it's
The
so
song
weird.
is more important
How
than
many
everything.
times are we
It's
going to
more
have this
important
song?
than everything.
But they didn't even have the song in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird. I'm not that excited to go back to it if that's what they're showing
Sure.
for it.
Yeah.
Like it was happening fast and like we were kind of talking and stuff, but like I didn't even really realize what was new until later.
You were playing as a bunch of different characters. There was some new cutscenes.
Yeah,
So,
but the cutscenes I recognized, but like the
Yeah.
gameplay, I was like, yeah, we did that, and then I was like, oh, you're playing as the different characters. I'm like, I don't know what I need to do that though.
Sure, yeah. That's for like, to me, this is for like the diehard crowd. This DLC, like fans like playing as Roxas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's like, I'm a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. Like that's exciting to me, but I totally get why people on the outside are just like, who cares?
Yeah,
Yeah. Like people, like I think people just want to see like new Disney World. That's what would get people hyped or
Of
something like
course,
that.
sure.
Like Star Wars or something like that. That would get people to pop off. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's not
But
enough
even,
for
like,
most people.
I'm a fan of Kingdom Hearts. I'm not a hardcore fan of
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. I would even take something that is the Kingdom Hearts Crazy Organization 13 story stuff.
Yeah.
But like, give me that. Don't give me like a weird side part of this. You know?
Yeah,
So
hopefully
we already
there's
saw this. We know how this
hopefully there's
ends.
more to it.
Yeah,
but
I don't need a reminder
Yeah.
on the game that I just
Totally.
played.
How you doing, Greg? Feeling good?
Yeah, just listen every time about the Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, baby.
They got
Simple and clean.
I think there wasn't what felt like a miss was Gears. Not
Yeah.
what they brought at the show.
Totally
We were
agree.
on stage with Mary at GameSpot, and that was her game of the show. And so it's
Yeah.
like I know that there's.
I liked Escape. We played Escape. It was
Yeah,
fun.
and Blood checked it out too, and he dug it. And the gameplay we saw was really neat.
But that weird trailer.
And I imagine
or
that's
the
a mode that probably scales really well difficulty wise. Like
Yeah.
I bet if you crank Escape up to the top, like
Yeah, sure.
that's got to be
Hard,
pretty
yeah.
hard pounding. Like at least seeing the green smoke and just having like enemies pop up out of nowhere. But just sold itself really weird. That Bury a Friend trailer was strange.
Dude, so weird. Like,
And the weed smoke going into the stage to say tune in later for
Yeah,
to have,
so
like
weird.
to have
Like, why-
Styles just be like
AJ Styles.
like, what? Like it just was weird. And
You
the
talk about speed
the
bumps,
lowest-
right? Like, why do we waste time doing
Yeah.
that?
the lowest I got in Square was just this isn't for me. Whereas like Gears kind of dipped below that a little bit of like what's going
Like this
on?
should be
Like,
for me, and like it goes back to we were talking on the Easy Ally show about like the production value of press conferences, and the moment that you have these big stages and like people coming out and things happening, you're raising a standard for how you're going to present stuff. And when the camera spun and went into the stage and there was the smoke and stuff, it's like this is fucking cool. Who's under there? What's about to happen?
What's
Like
the
are they revealing not Keanu Reeves, but like that type of moment
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like who's in Gears that we don't know about, or it didn't need to be a person, but like what is happening here that's going to be cool? And it went to a TV.
oh, and there was that goofy Terminator tease at the end. It's like,
Which
what the
one?
hell? Like, it's just like, what the hell is this? It's just
Yeah.
like its eyes. It's like, what?
What?
Gun, 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 gun.
Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Any other favorites from the press conferences?
No, I just thought it like to me it almost evolved kind of perfectly throughout the weekend, that it just kept getting like better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
You'd start super low with the play, really annoying host, very few amount of games.
Yeah.
And then you finish up with Nintendo like just really packed in tightly. And I thought it was really great. You know.
If you guys had to
Worked out.
rank the conferences, what do you think that you would do?
Like a letter grade? I can.
No, just that one. Like
I mean, like Nintendo was my
festivals.
favorite.
Yeah.
Then I think Square after that.
Me too.
Then I like your guys' a lot. I like the PC one. Then
Yeah,
it was
PC
like
gaming shows.
then it was
some
like-
really really fun things.
like Bethesda near the bottom.
Yeah.
I like Microsoft more than Bethesda though.
yeah,
But yeah, it's like Microsoft just kind of bummed me out with Gears. Like I've played all the Gears, and I'm like, okay, you really got to sell me on Gears 5 right
Yeah.
here. Like
it doesn't the same problem.
I'm not
Halo
like
5
super
had.
interested in. Like this is your chance to show me what's really rad about Gears 5, and they just did like a goofy CG trailer.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, what?
yeah. I think it goes Nintendo, Square, and then a pretty big drop. Bethesda, Microsoft, Ubisoft.
Yeah, I would switch Microsoft and
I forgot all
Bethesda.
about
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
that was a bad
Ubisoft
one there.
It was a bad one. They were
Watch Dogs
Whoa,
looked great,
weird.
presented very well. Everything else was like, oh no.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, wow, I completely forgot about it, dude. God.
But I've never. I mean, that's why I'm always just I'm gonna just DM you all the time with random ass showcase questions.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to me to have this idea of when you have that thing packaged, when you do a rehearsal and you walk out, it's like, are people gonna like that? Like I imagine that's got to be near impossible to know.
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
like this is gonna land really well or this is gonna hit.
The best you
Keanu
can-
feels like a solid a shoo-in. You know,
Oh,
we're like,
man.
how are people not gonna love this? But
Well,
like,
that could have been
well,
bad.
it's a random. For me, I actually get a little standoffish with celebrities in games.
Absolutely.
Where like when I played like the Telltale Game of Thrones, and just like a door opens, I'm like hello, like
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah, yeah.
and you have these weird like it's you but not, and especially if it's like celebrity here, NPC there, and it's like make up your mind, like do one
Yeah.
one or the other. So I could potentially see people kind of turned off. We're like, wait, I don't need celebrities in this game. I already love it.
Totally.
But,
If he didn't come out and kill it, I mean, on the stage in person,
Yeah.
showing true excitement, and then one of the interviews that's gone up recently that I saw today floating around was like, man, he's legitimately in love with this project, and
Yeah.
he's treating it
Yeah.
with respect, and he
Yeah.
knows what this means, and he knows what games are, and he knows how cool this game could be.
Yeah.
Like that goes so much
Yeah.
further than like, and I'm not even trying to throw shade, but like when we did Final Fantasy Uncovered, right, and like Lena Headey was there, and like it was very much like looking at the thing of like the bullet points, which is fine to have bullet points, but then also being very clear
The
like
crystals have always been very important to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, who wrote this? That is, like, I get the crystals are sometimes in Final Fantasy, but would you ever associate crystals in Final Fantasy?
I mean, to me, but I wouldn't like present that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like
the crystals are
top
important.
level mainstream
Not,
actress.
I'm like,
yeah.
not in a
It's
universal
fine.
meaning sense.
Yeah, it's
like,
like-
obviously there is a tie, of course, but
Crystal
not,
Chronicles, the 13 trilogy. Sure, I get
Yeah.
it, but
not
like
something that you would bring up.
overall, it's not.
Well, you know what? Not to name drop because I know he's a good friend of yours guys, but I thought Tim did a great job during Xbox. Like,
Oh,
'cause he
Tim?
comes
Yeah,
out, he
yeah.
comes
Oh,
out,
yeah.
and it's tough because you want to make the jokes. God, what was the difference between NPCs and RPGs at Stadia? And we're all like, you know, it's like, hello, fellow gamers. Like, just it's I respect that you wanted to try, but it's such a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And I love him coming out being like, hey, if you needed us to make, Halo crap, because that's what everyone's thinking.
Forza
It's like
XL.
he's addressing the elephant in the
Yeah.
room, which is, oh no,
They're gonna change
what are they
what
going to
we
make now? You know, and it's like, even if you liked Broken Age or not, even if you, were a Psychonauts fan or not, because my deepest love for Double Fine goes way back, and so it's neat to just kind of make a joke that, okay,
Yeah.
And
like,
let Tim be Tim. And
Yeah.
like show that they're going to still be.
and
He's
quick.
so great.
I think
Well,
he was on
that's-
stage for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing is we talked about this a little on your show, but we didn't get to this point. The funniest thing about Tim Schafer is he started our showcase.
Yeah.
And like
What is indie?
We did the jokey thing of like the pretentious opening.
We filmed that Wednesday or no Tuesday or Monday, something like that.
Yeah,
before.
like right before it, and it starts with what is
Yeah.
indie, and it's Tim Schafer talking. We didn't know about the Microsoft thing, and then when he comes out on stage, we're just like, well, I guess you're not indie. That is hilarious that happened that way, but
Yeah.
fun little thing.
I just think, I don't think there's a sure thing. I don't think there's any way you can set up a conference like that and know 100%, which is why directs are interesting, where they, because is it good? Like directs, the last one did do it, but sometimes directs will like actually have a menu. You'll be like, oh, coming up
next,
we're doing
yeah.
the next thing, and so that works sometimes. Sometimes it kind of kills the anticipation of stuff coming up later. And
But again, it sets expectations, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing when you talk about what we did with the showcase. It was the idea of messaging it early on that we are doing an indie showcase because most AAA and AA have somewhere to go or have their own plan. Where it was like, this is what it needed to be, and we needed everyone to understand from the get that we weren't going to have a Telltale Walking Dead announcement, that we weren't going to have something exclusive from Judgment this time around.
And we would have loved to have that stuff, and it's
I would
like,
have dropped all these indies like a bad habit.
but it's kind of putting them in with it. It raises the value of
Totally,
everything,
totally.
right? Like, I think that's really cool, and I hope that we continue to do the showcase and like be able to have moments that are genuine surprises, but at the same time, still have everybody understand, what we're trying to do with it all. So.
well, the faster you guys do the showcase, the less time people have to complain about it while it's happening.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, I think they spent it. Oh, new game. What's that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing you were talking about, the jokes, like Tim Schafer on stage. It's like, that's something that we take really seriously, where, we do all the like interstitial stuff to kind of segue between the montages of trailers. And like, it's a big focus for us where like, we cannot be on camera for more than 15 seconds. And everything we're saying, if we're making jokes, that's fine. If they're inside jokes to our audience, that's fine. If they're jokes, whatever. Everything we're saying has to have a point for what we're introducing. It's like, the joke needs to be, we're introducing puzzle games. It needs to be about puzzle games so people understand. The joke's about games that are coming out today. We need to like set that up. And it's like, everything needs to have a purpose that's not just, we're trying to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Because like the moment you're trying to do that, you're not going to make people laugh.
My number one rule with press conferences that every time it happens, I like it's just infuriated and I scream at the screen. It's just like, all right, how's everybody doing? It's like never
Crowd
ask a question
reactions?
to a crowd that can't answer the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
What are you? What?
Ah!
Yeah, just
It's like,
stop.
that's not a great
And again,
answer.
that's like that. I just feel that's Bethesda. How many Fallout fans we got out there?
Yeah.
Just like, just show the video.
Now, having said that,
Please.
though, I want to say, because like we did the indie showcase, but Greg also hosted EA Play, and it's difficult.
But that's a fan event. That's like a totally different.
It is a fan event, but there's still people at home watching it. And when Greg comes out and he's like, "What's up, everybody? Hey, you're like, who's a Star Wars fan?" And you're like, people are talking. At home, it can come across weird because it's like, why is Greg screaming so much? It's more than normal. It's like there is a group of people, an audience of potentially hundreds of people in front of him that he's engaging with, and that might not be coming across on the live stream.
Right.
But it's like, that energy is necessary. Like, that is the best way to do this. And, like, that's hard to get across when you're not seeing the audience, when the audience isn't mic'd correctly. Like, that's the absolute worst thing.
Our first anniversary show that we did, people, like, got mad at the audience because they're like, you didn't cheer loud enough. And it's like, they were mic'd.
Yeah.
You know, like...
And that's why every time we do live shows, we always mic the audience.
For DICE Awards, for EA Play, for any of these things that I do with a live audience, that's always the commentary. Oh, man, the crowd's dead. And it's like, no, you're there and they're awesome. Yeah. It's just that that's not there's such a difference between the production side that people are trying to put out and then the hosting side of what you're trying to get, because it is that if the energy in the room sucks, the content on stage will suck, because it will get in the head of whoever's up there. And so you need to have that balance and try to find it. But then it is that, why is Greg screaming? And it's like, well, I'm trying to get them hyped so that this continues to be hyped, because when you're into the EA Play hour 2.5 and nobody's everybody's sitting on their hands and nobody cares, like, that gets reflected in the content you're
Everything
getting.
and just the vibe just feels that way, and every moment when you're on stage starts to feel like an eternity. We're just like, oh, it's like that awkward conversation. Whereas if we're all having fun, then it's different. The best thing I've ever learned from you is hosting panels. Greg comes out, giving the secrets. I've told him a million times.
Oh, that's fine.
But every single panel Greg hosts, he'll come out and be like, who here's been to a panel before? And people start raising their hands. Then he yells at them all. It's just like, no, you've been to bad panels. I want to hear you make noise. Who here's been to a panel? And it's like, that sets the tenor for what the show's going to be. And I feel like that really does, like, help and amp up the crowd. But I can understand if you're watching that from home, you see that, you're like, this guy's a douche nozzle. You know what I mean?
Lots of times it happens behind the scenes, which is nice. Like, a panel's different. I have to do it in the moment, so if it's mainstream. But for EA Play, they let me go up early, and it was the same thing.
Oh, yeah?
And that's why, like, there's a great Twitch clip that somebody broke out where I forget exactly what it is, but I'm like, oh, I got the little kid. I like that. And it's because in the live section before, he was one of the kids I called out. Because I was like, yeah, go crazy. And the kid's just like, and I'm like, you have to go crazy. You know what I mean? You know, like, without the context, there was something like, I like this little boy.
Oh, man.
That's pretty good. That's
so fun.
But I think one of the important things, Greg, and I mean this sincerely, you are kind of a douche nozzle. In that you do have this air of, like... And that's what I think is interesting about you, Greg, is you're kind of like, there's just so many qualities to you. Like, you do have this sense of professionalism, you do have this energy, you do have the knowledge, but you are a goof, you know, and so it's kind of everything all at once. Like, this kind of disarming of like, you know, if you're not into, you know, what I'm in, if you don't believe that I'm excited for it, let's just all still be excited because we're here and it's fun.
And I get that, because and I you know, understand for as long as I've been a fan, let alone a host or whatever. You've seen it. We've all seen a host who is clearly faking it and doesn't know what they're talking about and doesn't really care. And, like, that's the thing where, with me, I just grow on you like a fungus. A lot of people hate me when they see me, but then over time they're like, he's not faking it.
One of my favorite Greg Miller host moments was the premiere of Batman Telltale at Comic-Con, and you come out and you're in the blue suit, and they were running it on PC and it didn't work, and you're like, this is why they needed to. And I was like, you think about that, and it's like, wow, this is like, here's this guy in this I mean, you imagine the horror, you know, just you start sweating when you're like, damn it, we have all these fans at Comic-Con, and like all these Batman nerds are in this room and it's not working, and then you're like, I'm going to take this even further by questioning your planning for this event in the first place. But it's like, that's kind of what I want people to lean into. Like, that's what you should do in that moment, is show that, like,
levity, dude.
Hey, we're all human.
Yes.
Hey, I'm in the same position you are. I'm pissed this isn't working. I want to see this.
And at the end of the day, it's making content, though.
Comes back around to positivity, where we're all because you start to feel this uncertainty, this uncomfortableness, and like, where's this coming from? It's coming from the fact that you want it to go well, and so do I. But it's not. What are we gonna do? Let's just move on.
Let's have fun and, like, make it cool.
If you freeze up, that's the worst thing you can do. Right? That's why people keep hiring me. It's because, again, like, all the lights can go off, everything can happen. I can interview a rock for 2 hours by candlelight, and it can be entertaining. Like, you need me to fill time if something goes wrong? But, an EA Play story I've never told is they had me, when I was out there doing all stuff, they had me eventually, they're like, oh, we have one more thing for you to do, and it was a piece of paper they handed me, and it was just an audio read that in case it all went to hell, like, it went down, it hit this button, and it would just be me and, like, the EA Play logo being like, we're having sorry the stream's gone down, we're having technical difficulties, we'll be back as soon as possible. And they had me do just two reads, like, all right, perfect. I'm like, can I get one for myself? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, hey everybody, I was like, hey, you know what? The stream's gone down. Panic! Oh my God, what are we gonna do? They're like,
That's
we probably won't. We hope we won't have to use any of these. But I'm like, well, just send me that wave one day.
Just so
I like
happy.
that for myself.
That's great.
That's awesome.
All right, any closing thoughts on E3 2019, gentlemen?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's always I feel E3 much more than other because we get this like lead in. I remember the first E3 we ever went to game trailers is we showed up and I was like trying to get trailers, you know, for the site. And I'm just like, well, we missed this one trailer. Where's that other trailer? Like, oh, that was at the Microsoft press conference yesterday. I'm like, the what? And they're like, you missed. You're a day late. You know, like they started E3 a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, and this is like 2002, and so I was like, got it. So the next year we were like ready, like a couple days beforehand. So we didn't have invites to any of these things. You know, we're like a brand new company, and so there really is like this kind of 3-phase process of like. We get all the hype going. That's its own total thing. So I have this whole idea of what Final Fantasy VII Remake is. And then I sit down with you and I talk about your impressions. And okay, that changes. And then the whole thing's done. And now your head's just swimming from all of this stuff. And then all of a sudden this kind of cream rises to the top. And you realize like, wow, you know, like Cyberpunk really was special.
Yeah.
And like, wow, like, wow, Doom Eternal really did have a good showing. And like, wow, I was a lot more surprised about Dying Light 2 than I expected to be. And I just kind of went in and be like, I'll probably play this. I played Dead Island. And, you know, if I play Dead Island, I'll play Dying Light 2. If I finish Dead Island, Techland could do anything. And like, I'll probably consume it. And so it was interesting having these press conferences kind of feel underwhelming, missing Sony so much, especially that press booth, man. Last year, if I had 20 minutes, I'd go play Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I would just like Intihar would come out and be like, again? And I'm like, I can't get enough. Like I would do like, and because it was a short amount of time with it before you'd like probably have to hand the controller to somebody else. So I would do, there was one time I went back and I just swung. I didn't do any mission. I literally just for 15 minutes straight just kept going and going and really getting, and actually Brian sat down with me and really getting like, how do I gain speed while I'm going? And like picking that up. And so that was missing and you know, that kind of sucked, but at the same time, like, Biomutant, which we didn't talk about, is a project I'm curious about and like did not show well. Like the demo was not good, does not feel well, the gunplay's not great, and like I'm hoping that they turn things around with that game. I think it was it. Of everything that I saw or played, that was the only thing that I kind of came out a little bit disappointed. I mean, Avengers, obviously, like we want more, but so it's like disappointed that we didn't get some of the press conferences that we want. EA Play in my mind and Microsoft are kind of frustrating because you got to travel so much, like to go check it out and like leave the show, and like I want everything to be so packed in there.
I get mad when I have to go from West Hall to South Hall.
Yeah, you know, like,
I gotta go to Devolver across the street.
But I think you know, we can talk about that first half, but of the stuff that I saw at the show, man, and of the things that I'm just kind of absorbing through the people like Doom and Final Fantasy, like this gen is going to wrap up with a bang. It's just we're going to see some really exciting stuff coming.
I think like, you know, really looking at it, because everybody's like, oh, it was a weird E3, you know, it was underwhelming E3 or this, that, or the other, and everything was good, but it really shows how spoiled we all are. And I mean, I'm just like, and I don't even mean like spoiled rotten. I just mean like of how good games are.
Absolutely.
And like literally where like I think we talked about it, right? Where it's like you look at the Nintendo Direct and you think back and compare that to anything, and like think about what Microsoft's doing. It's like there's 60 games at Microsoft, right? There's all these games at Nintendo, and it's like we're just being like, man, it didn't blow my hair. I already knew that was gonna. Oh, that's been rumored forever. Blah blah. That leaked. It's just like
The more I think back on the press conferences, the more all of them, most of them, I actually really liked them a lot more than I think. I was talking to you about this. It's like it was so hot in San Francisco. We, like didn't have ACs. Like I was so much more tired than I would have wanted to be. Because I love reacting to the press conferences. Like I love watching it. I love like seeing the production, seeing everything they put together. And it's like this year felt off, and like it wasn't because the C3 was worse. It was just like I feel like I had some personal shit where I was bringing into it. It was just hot. I couldn't handle it, so I was more tired. So, like, I was watching our live reactions to the Nintendo thing, and I'm like, that's how I reacted to Zelda? What? Like, that's crazy. But
that was a weird trailer, though.
Really weird trailer.
But it was awesome. I love how they did that. That was all I'd want to see from that game right now. I don't need to see more. Right now, it leaves you with questions.
Just leave me the logo at the end, though, rather than just like this.
It was a weird sentence.
Making a sequel to Breath of the Wild.
And I felt it missed. One of the things that Keanu, the reason that hit so well with Keanu is he sat down. You know, that it was like, we got to do this. And you're like, oh, I have a little AI. Oh my God. Like it just, there was the second you didn't know and then the second you knew. And Zelda was like, they started bringing in more people as it went on. So like, I imagine there was some fan out there in like, Illinois who literally just saw like a green thing and was like, yes, like,
no, but
they knew right away.
I like
that. And then
that,
like the rest of it, I think it's neat, but I think it just it's still, when you talk about reactions, specifically the and so,
there
like,
wasn't a
we all
one
kind of
moment.
hit at different moments. Like Ben knew, and then Damiani nodded, and then the rest of us knew. So there wasn't that, because like you can literally hit the frame where all of us are like,
what we saw,
like on Keanu,
yeah,
like silently,
sure.
like we just jump out. Same thing with Resident Evil 7, just
Yeah.
And so I think I would have loved if it was like really mysterious and obtuse, and then there they are. There's not the like, oh, what's that animal? Oh, the hair, and okay,
No, I get that, and with the title screen they showed the now in development, like that is weird. Like
just
I didn't need that.
Too.
But just showing the gameplay or showing the game, not gameplay. I enjoyed that. Now we know it's like, okay, it's a very dark game. It looks just like Breath of the Wild. It looks like it's still in the same world. Is Zelda also playable? Is there? It's like there's questions that I'm happy I don't have the answer to right now.
Yeah.
And I actually said on GameSpot, I wish there were more clues, and that was off base. There's tons of clues in there. They're the hieroglyphics on the wall. Like
so cool.
There's a lot of stuff to the hand, and like I guess we're all assuming that's Ganon, but we don't really know.
And that's exciting, man.
Yeah.
I love that. But anyways. Anything else?
We covered about 20% of E3.
Yeah. I really just miss all the big boys, the big three being in the same hall. I really miss it, man. I feel like a lot of the excitement is just kind of gone. Like, I feel like there was like a level of excitement that was like far beyond anything when they're all three in the same hall. It feels like you're in the middle of their war kind of going on. And there's nothing like it. And I just feel like EA's gone now too. I just miss everyone being in the same area together. Everyone's just spread out, and it's just like annoying. I don't want to go to Microsoft to walk away. Like, I wouldn't go to EA Play unless you did it for something. Like, I wouldn't go on my own. I just miss them all being there. Yeah. It makes it feel like E3 itself is less special. People are just trying to do their own thing, which is cool. I don't mind, but I just wish E3 everyone would just come back together for this one thing.
There's also like Bowser being at the Lego thing that you saw.
It was
like
cool.
It's fun. I talked to some people, some fans that were like, "Oh, I saw this game," and like you'll never guess who was sitting next to me, or who I just like Kojima just like walked.
I love
right
those
by.
moments,
like,
man.
Was Kojima there?
No,
he
tweeted about it.
He was sad.
Yeah.
So, but it's I love that vibe too. Where I've been at appointments sometimes, and I've seen people walk in and just be like, "Hey, like we're excited. We're also making an RPG, and this looks great." You know,
that's so cool.
It's a bummer to think of everyone so separate that you don't get those opportunities to.
My first
just,
E3,
just step, go check it out.
10 years ago was the debut of Kinect. And me and Alfredo were in line waiting to play Kinect. And back then, we all know how it turned out, but it was like, that was exciting technology.
Yeah, totally.
Where it was like, oh my God, like you can actually do, oh God. But like Dance Central was happening or whatever, and we were waiting in line to play it, and we were about to be next. And we got cut off, and I was like, who is about to be taking us? Miyamoto.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is the coolest moment ever.
Yeah,
we just got to
so
watch
cool.
him do Dance Central. It's like,
rad.
this is so funny. But like, I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, that is the power of
E3,
E3, the
yeah,
convention
just seeing
itself.
So one must wonder with next gen on the horizon if Sony's like, all right,
Oh,
we'll come back. We got a console.
They'll be
to sell.
back,
Come on.
I think.
They'll be back, I think. Maybe. Begrudgingly. Like Sean Layden will.
I don't
I
know.
wouldn't bet on it.
I
This
think
is Vegas. I
I think
wouldn't
it's
waste money on that.
50-50. I
Yeah,
think it's
me too.
50-50 to whether they look at what just happened and they're like, we made the right. That's the thing too, is we just don't know internally. Like their call was, we don't think we have that much to show, right? And
Right.
then you get there and everybody's like, it's kind of a middling E3. So was it that? And then everybody's like, I miss Sony. It's exactly what I said was going to happen, right? Where if this E3 didn't deliver, people would be like, I miss Sony. And that seems to be the conversation. So like, we heard you and we're back. PSX 2019. Let's talk about PS5. Let's do something.
love PSX.
Yeah, me too. And so like that, then just more state of plays. I don't know. I want to see everybody back together.
Yeah.
I love E3 being the thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it can be anymore.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about the next state of play because they showed a remake in the last one, so people are gonna be like,
See,
all right, more remake. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about State of Play. Like, I feel like we just need maybe 3 more of them, and then I think everyone's going to understand what these things can be. They're not all going to have Final Fantasy VII Remake, but some of them will. And that's the exciting thing, is like one day we're going to see it's like, oh my God, Horizon 2's a game.
Yeah.
And like that's going to be such a moment.
Yeah, Last of Us 2, we'll see more of that. Ghost of Tsushima, we'll see like more.
Yeah.
Directs, I think, have done a really good job though of like letting you know ahead. This is just a Pokemon Direct.
Yeah.
This direct's only gonna be 10 minutes long.
Well,
Like, oh, okay.
Nintendo
And I think
has
from one
like
state of
5
play to the
different
other,
formats.
it felt like they did learn a little bit because didn't they do a
The
Final
first
Fantasy
state of
VII sound
play-
effect?
Oh
at
yeah,
the beginning.
the very beginning they did the mini.
And they did say what they didn't do with the first state of play. They said how long it was going to be. So I was like, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
12 minutes. I'm set. I know my expectations.
Where can people find you, Brandon Jones?
Here. You're in the Nexus.
Oh my God! But where could they
In
can't
this
come
brick
here?
room. You can go. Yeah, you just type in Easy Allies into your browser of choice. But you know, just like kind of funny, go to patreon.com/Easy Allies if you want to financially support us. If you're considering possibly taking investments out of other, you know, crowdfunding operations. And,
you can put them in both.
You can do. You just want. Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, if you're spending $5 on one thing, maybe just do $1 and then take those 4. You know, consider no clip. Consider Easy Allies.
Out of time, guys.
EasyAllies.com, youtube.com/Easy Allies. But Patreon's fun because you just learn more about us.
Yeah,
that's like
man.
one of the main ways I sell it. Is just like if you're like, I ain't giving you money, like at least check it out just to.
Yeah, of course.
When I put up a review, I'll write a little blog, and you know it's always nice to just get like little more info, some exclusive stuff. Check it out.
Where can people find you, Brad, on Twitter?
Same place. Also Bradley Ellis 87. That's where you can find it on Twitter.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for allowing
was
us to use
fun.
the studio. That was a lot
Thanks
of
for
fun.
coming
Oh,
by.
quick shout out to Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Quick shout out, baby.
Yeah.
They didn't show much, but like
George Railroad Martin.
George Railroad Martin, baby. That's what
All
I'm
right,
talking
guys.
about.
I love you.